Hi everybody. Snowy, cold, not snowy anymore, but cold day here. And let's just see if we get anybody to come in. Other way, because it's hard with a camera when you put it into your stand, it makes it sideways. That's no fun. Anyways, I had kind of a slow start this morning, and I am working on this landscape that I'm just kind of doing it intuitively because I'm testing out the wonderful new gouache by Stoneworks Mill. It's this one right here. It's called Gossamer. And Kelly's going to be releasing it sometime soon. And so I wanted to try it out with a landscape. And so far, I've mostly used it in the sky. And I really think it made a beautiful sky. I love what it did with the ultramarine blue. And then I added just a touch of burnt sienna. And then just sort of washed it down into this down here. But I think I also used it a little bit in the tree line. You can see, to put some lighter areas on a darker area, and it worked really well. It doesn't look chalky. It has a very subtle sheen to it, so it really blends beautifully with watercolor, which is how I would use it. I'm not a gouache painter, but I will use gouache sometimes with my watercolor, just white gouache, and what it tends to do, it tends to be very chalky, and it can have a different sort of surface finish than watercolor does. And this one just sort of melds with the watercolors much better. I've also used it in the field area. You can see some lighter patches that I painted with the gouache, and it doesn't reflect any differently than the watercolor, which is really great. And I think it's going to be a wonderful thing. So I thought I would put some music on and work on this painting a little bit. I'm not, it's funny, I'm doing this from memory or just from my imagination. And so I don't really have a reference, but in my mind, my brain tells me that these furrows in the field would be a little bit darker. Unless maybe there was snow left in them, I'm thinking. But the trees don't really indicate that. So I think I'm going to just work on that and see if I can make that more logical. I like the way it looks right now, though. So sometimes, my logical brain tells me something, but my visual brain tells me something else. And I'm just gonna see. It's just a test painting for now. Maybe it'll turn out well, maybe it won't, but I'm really loving this, so I hate to do too much. So anyways, I'm gonna put some music on and just work on this for a while. It might be boring sometimes because sometimes I just sit and stare at it and not know what to do. But I will. Hi everybody, thanks for coming. I also have to say, hold on. Today is, hold on, now I won't be able to find it. Watch me. Here. This is my book. And today is the publication day for my book. So if you have pre-ordered it, it should be in your mailboxes today. And yeah, it should be. I'm not positive. I know one person texted me this morning. Barb texted me that she got an email from Amazon this morning saying there was a weather delay for her, so she won't get it until tomorrow. So that's sad. Anyways, many of you should get it today, and I know it's available in stores already. Al posted yesterday a picture of it at the Tate Modern gift shop museum store, so that was a thrill for me to see that. But anyways, here it is, and if you've ordered it, you should be getting it soon. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna pardon me for 1 minute here while I hook this up. Sorry, I don't mean to make you dizzy. Let's see, my cord is stuck. All right, I have to plug in because I don't have a lot of battery. And I'm gonna put it up here into my holder so I have my hands free. Okay, hopefully, let me turn on one more light. So hopefully that's good. Hopefully you can see. And I've got my paints up here, and this is my Stoneworks mill. And so I've got them up here so I can grab them. So you won't see those. There's just not enough camera space, otherwise you'd be way too far away. And then I've got my palette over here. And these palettes, I would like to say something about these two. I love this palette. It's just a piece of tempered glass. And it works so well. And it was actually made for oil painters. But it's by a company called New Wave, newwaveart.com. And I want to say, I mean, it was expensive. It was like maybe $30, but I use it every day, and it's just so convenient. And the other thing is that, I mean, I just wash it off when I need to. The paint mixes really well on it, and it's just a really great reflective surface to see the color of paint. I really like it. You can also use it for making paint. I've made paint on here too, if you need a glass surface to mix your paint on. So anyways, I just wanted to tell you about that if you were wondering what it was. All right, I'm gonna put some music on and paint. Is that too loud? So when I add a new color, I'm mixing a little bit of the old color into it, whatever's left on my palette, and that just sort of gives it harmony. So again, I'm adding a new color, and I just blend it right into the color I was using before, because I want them to all sort of be in harmony with one another. So when I'm doing things like this, I'm thinking of my paintbrush and my paint like I'm sculpting the land, like I'm creating it, I'm forming it. And so I'm always thinking in the direction of form, like I'm carving it or something. It's just it's a visualization that I do, and it helps me. I don't know. So at the end, I like to add a little bit of, sorry, you can probably hear my heater going on. um, I always like to pay attention to where things meet. So the magic of where like the trees meet the land, and the tree line meets the land, and where like the sky meets the trees, and the sky meets the land, all of those things. I like to pay attention to those spaces and give them a little magic. You probably can't see that unless you were. It's sort of one of my signature things that I do on my landscapes. And you probably can't see it. You know, I think I need to stop. Except, I always say that and then I see one more thing that's bothering me. Okay. So, if you're just joining me, I missed that because I'm not really looking at the camera, but hi. Thanks for being here. I'm working on a sort of a landscape where I'm trying to understand the properties of the new gouache by Stoneworks Mill. It's called Gossamer. And I'm not a gouache painter, I'm a watercolorist, but every now and then I use white gouache in my work for all different reasons. And what I've always noticed with white gouache is that when the painting dries, you can see where the gouache is. It stands out, you know, I mean, it has a different texture, and usually it's sort of a matte, chalky texture, and it doesn't always match the same way the watercolor dries. They don't have the same properties, right, when they dry. But what I've noticed with this watercolor, with this gouache, with the Gossamer, is that it blends seamlessly with my watercolor. So I can't see the difference between the watercolor and the gouache, except for where I put the gouache, I can use it more opaquely. But if I tilt my painting in the light, I don't see any difference between the gouache and the watercolor. And this is a really magical thing. I've never had that before. So that is an outstanding quality to this new paint, that, you know, all white gouache can cover things and, you know, create shades of a specific color so you can use it on top of a darker color, which in watercolor is quite hard to do. You know, we don't always have that capability. We have to paint basically our light values first, and then we build up to our darker values. But by adding a little bit of white gouache into things, we can sometimes do the opposite. So I put lighter leaves on top of darker areas here, you know, and the gouache allowed me to do that. And there's a softness to that, and there's it's very useful at the same time. But like I said, I always hesitated to do it because I could tell where the gouache was, and now I can't. And so that's magical, and I'm going to tell Kelly that. I think that's the best thing about this gouache. I mean, it's white, you know. I mean, it's not. I mean, Kelly to me is the magical alchemist of beautiful mixes. You know, I mean, she, and her hand milled paints are just stunning, and the quality is stunning. But she has these very creative mixes that I love. This is just white. You can get white anywhere, right? But that's what's special about this. I can't tell where I used it. It just, you can't see it. It blends seamlessly with a watercolor. So yeah, I'm happy I did the test. I really love how this turned out, and I think I need to stop because if I don't, I'm going to overwork it. Yeah, so thanks for joining me today. I'll save this in case anybody missed it. and they want to watch it later. You know what? Let's do the magic thing. I love this part. Hold on. Now this is just washi tape, and so unfortunately it can tend to rip the paper, see, a little bit, but that's okay because it'll be under a mat. But it's always fun to take the tape off. I need a strong tape when I'm painting many layers and doing a lot of work to something. I'll either use blue painter's tape or washi tape. It needs to be strong. I can't use the Post-it note tape when I'm doing this because I need it. I don't want to chance any color going underneath the tape for these longer projects. I worked on this for 2 days, so it does rip the paper a little bit. I've never found one that didn't, especially when I use hot press paper. But again, at least there's a nice clean edge to it, and then I can put a mat around this and you won't see that. Or just frame it right up next to it. All right, everybody, thank you for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day today. Thank you.